You see literally thousands of ads every single day. But think about it. How many do you actually remember? Most of them just kind of wash over you, right? Like they were made for somebody else entirely? Well, today we're going to dive into Jon Steel's classic book, Truth, Lies, and Advertising, to figure out the secret to making ads that don't just shout at you, but that actually connect.
You've totally been there, right? An ad pops up that's so weird, so out of touch, you just have to ask, who on earth thought this was a good idea? That exact feeling, that's the problem Jon Steel is trying to solve. All right, let's get right into it. The first thing Steel does is diagnose the core problem with so much of advertising. He calls it the big disconnect, and it's the reason why so many ads feel like they aren't even talking to you. He lays it out with this really simple idea, the advertising triangle. See, for an ad to actually work, to hit its mark, it needs to balance 3 points of view. You've got the client, who's focused on the business goals, you've got the agency, who wants to make something cool and creative, and then there's the consumer. Yep, that's you, who just wants something that's actually relevant to their life.
And this, right here, is where everything falls apart. Way too often, the client and the agency are just talking to each other. They get so wrapped up in their own goals, their own little world, that they completely forget about the most important person of all, the person who's actually supposed to buy the product.
The advertising legend David Ogilvy said it best. The consumer isn't a moron, she's your wife. It's just such a powerful reminder to respect your audience. You're not talking to a faceless demographic on a chart, you're talking to real, intelligent human beings.
Okay, so if the consumer's voice is missing, how do you bring it back? Well, Steel introduces us to a kind of hero, a secret agent for the consumer working right inside the ad agency.
Now, we're not talking about a spy in a trench coat. We're talking about a discipline called account planning. It was literally invented to be the consumer's champion, to make sure that the people the ads are for have a voice from the very beginning.
So what does this secret agent actually do? Well, they're the ones who go out and uncover those deep human truths that you'll never find in a spreadsheet. They're the bridge between all that data and the creative team, making sure the final ad isn't just clever, but that it's actually relevant and distinctive. They're a true partner in the creative process. Now, to be the consumer's voice, planners have to do research. But, and this is a big but, Steel argues that the way most companies do research is completely backwards. They use it as a safety net to kill interesting ideas, not as a springboard to spark them. He shows this huge contrast. On one side, you have research that misleads. You know the type, sterile focus groups asking all the wrong questions, just looking for a reason to say no. But on the other side, you've got research that reveals. This is about getting out into the real world, into people's natural habitats, to find the kinds of insights that actually inspire creativity.
Steele's favorite way to describe this kind of research is peeling the onion. It's such a great metaphor. It means you don't just take the first answer someone gives you. You have to patiently peel back layer after layer of what people say they think to get to the real, messy, emotional truth of how they actually feel.
So, you've peeled the onion. You've found this amazing human truth. What now? How do you package that up for the creative team? Well, that's what the creative brief is for.
And Steel is incredibly passionate about this point. A brief should never ever be a boring list of instructions, a bunch of demands from the client, or some kind of check-the-box exercise. That just kills creativity.
Instead, he says a great brief is like a fisherman's guide. It doesn't tell the creative team how to fish or what kind of rod to use. It just points them to the part of the lake where the fish are biting. The whole job of the brief is to inform and, most importantly, to inspire.
This all sounds good in theory, doesn't it? But what does it look like when you put it all into practice? Let's talk about how these exact principles led to one of the most iconic campaigns ever, Got Milk.
So, the scene is the early 90s, and things are looking bad for the California Milk Processor Board. Sales were in a total freefall. Milk was just boring. It was a staple product that nobody ever really thought about. The challenge was to somehow make people care about milk again.
So the planning team went to work peeling that onion. They spent a ton of time with consumers and realized that every milk ad ever had been getting it wrong. The real emotion tied to milk wasn't about how good it is for you or how much you love it. It was about that specific, universal moment of panic. You know, you've got a warm cookie, a big bowl of cereal, and you open the fridge and the milk carton is empty. That's it. The huge insight was that the campaign needed to be about deprivation. And out of that one beautiful, simple insight, these two little words were born. It's not a statement. It's a question. a question that instantly puts you right back in that moment of frustration. It is absolutely brilliant.
So, did it work? Oh boy, did it work. The results were just incredible. The campaign didn't just stop the years of decline, it completely turned things around. Milk sales in California jumped by 7% in the very first year. That's what happens when you start with a real human truth.
Which brings us to one final, really powerful idea from Jon Steel. It's a question that anyone who's trying to communicate anything should ask themselves. Are you leaving room for the mouse?
What does he mean by that? He means trust your audience, respect their intelligence. Don't feel like you have to spell everything out for them. The best ads, the best stories, they give you just enough information to let you connect the dots yourself. They invite you to participate. Because when the audience helps create the meaning, the message becomes theirs. And that is the real secret to advertising that doesn't just sell, but that truly, genuinely connects.